What's up, guys? It is February 4th, 2023, and we missed the January garden, but didn't miss much. There is just a little bit of stuff going on. Just started getting ready to put everything back in and filling up the greenhouse. So I want to show you guys the garden real quick. Okay, so a few minor changes in our little backyard suburban. So over here we have not started any of the beans yet. We are in zone 9A. I'm just cleaning out this bed here. Haven't put anything in it. This bed back here for fall, I had broccoli and kale that I grew, and a couple of bok choys that I had grew from seed from a microgreens packet from Dollar General. And all of these broccoli are trying to go to seed on me, and the aphids just started attacking this bed big time. So I'm wondering if I should just spray them off and cut all the flowering heads off and see if we can get some side shoot, or if I want to rip this all out and start new. So that's the dilemma for that. So in this bed right here, this is actually new. Last year and previously it was made up of metal and cinder blocks, and I took all of that out and bought this new 5 by 3 or 5 by 30 inches 5 foot by 30 inches galvanized bed from Amazon. I got it around Christmas time and it was $49. I just saw last night where it was on sale for $47, but that is the newest addition to the garden and the garden beds. So right in this bed here I have another greens bed that I planted from seed, and I may have done a video showing where I started all these seeds from the microgreens packet, but all of these greens that are in here are from the microgreens. There are a few broccolis in here that I planted from seed from a broccoli seed packet, and there's also a few cabbages that we started together back early fall. And the cabbages, some of them are starting to head up. I got some dinosaur kale, some pak choi, this curly, fluffy kale. That is just stuff that came in the microgreens packet, as well as all this bok choy. I don't even know if this is some kind of frilly mustard or what it is, but it's actually really tasty in stir fries, and I've been eating the mess out of it. So, and of course I got 2 dinosaur kales, and all these greens except for those cabbages and broccoli came from a $1 microgreen packet from Dollar General, and I just planted them like normal seeds. So back here in this bed, I wanted to make this an herb bed, so I planted a lot of my old seeds. I planted chives in here. I put some cilantro. I dumped all kinds, a few nasturtiums, and then none of them really were coming up very well, and it may have been because the weather wasn't right yet, but I went to Dollar Tree and got some of those herb rockets, and I laid them flat in here, and I did a dill, a thyme, and a basil, and I think that's the basil down there. And I also planted more cilantro, and down there I have some carrots that I planted. And I don't remember what carrot seeds that I planted in here, but just some that I had. So there's all kinds of herbs in here. I'm gonna see what comes up and how it grows, and then if I have room, I'm gonna plant some of my fresh herb seeds in here, or even some of my transplants. So in this bed here, these bok choy came back from last year. I had half of this bed planted with bok choy, and it went to seed, and so that's where those came from. And then these celery I got as a 6-pack sale from the feed store just like a week, 2 weeks ago. And then I also on the end have 2 celeries. These are organic celeries from Winn-Dixie that my husband bought, and I just chopped them off and used them and stuck them in the ground, and now they're growing. And then in here I planted, so you can see some carrots coming up. I have a couple of onions that were just regular onions, and when I put the tops on my compost I decided to just bury them, and they are coming back up, and they'll be green onions that I can use. And then over here I planted a bunch of radishes, and I think I planted some cilantro in there as well. And I've got a couple of greens that made their way in here from the microgreens packet. So nothing going on, and I'm just redoing here. I got a couple of Mizuna that I got for free seed from Baker Creek when I ordered my fall seeds in there, but I'm just about to refresh these two beds. Nothing going in them right now. They haven't been touched. I just want to show you kind of an angle of what it looks like from over here right now. And I'm just going to keep going down this aisle and showing you what's in each bed right now. So in this bed I planted the some Danvers carrots, some of the Pusta Acida, the really dark purple carrots, and some of those Kyoto reds. And they did not come up very well because I had a weed, one of those really invasive ones that spread out a lot in there. So I got sketchy carrot coverage in there. And then in these drawers here I planted collards back in the early fall, and those are the Georgia collards. I just replanted this bed right here with Oregon sugar pod peas, and I'll put up some bamboo trellises and stuff for them once they come up. And then these three file cabinet drawers, I had peppers in them last, but I lost all my peppers in the hard freeze at Christmas. So I am in the middle of redoing these beds, and I have 1 or 2 more 12 packs of the microgreens that have bok choy and kales in them that I'm going to finish filling up these with. So here in this tub, I just refreshed it today, and I planted, I had a pack of rainbow chard that I bought from Lowe's a couple weeks back and planted, and that's what all this is here, is rainbow Swiss chard. And then at the end I just planted cylindra beets seeds. Alright, and this is another one of my greens beds that I planted back in the early fall, end of August, beginning of September. There is one of my cabbages, and I can't remember the variety of cabbage. I think it's Jersey is what that is. I had Jersey and Wakefield, and I think all of them ended up being Jersey. And then here is the kale that I was able to start, the curly kale from seed. And then here's some mustard from the microgreens that's trying to go to seed right here. And then over here I just got some various greens, kale, different kinds of kale right there from the microgreens package. And I have been eating these greens right here like crazy. These curly ones are so good. I don't know what they are exactly, but something I planted from seed. And then right here I had a whole bed of baby bok choy that went to seed. I ate a bunch of it, pulled some of it out, but I'm letting it go to seed and flower so that it will reseed itself around, and I'll have baby bok choy volunteering in my garden. And then there's another one of those Jersey cabbages right there. And then in this bed, I had the whole bed, had 12 of those Tete Noir, which I got in my fall seed haul from Baker Creek, which is a purple-headed cabbage. And the frost killed all but these two. I had a couple that were hanging on, but they weren't in good shape. And there's one back there I just need to go ahead and pull up. So I got these two that are still going, And then I transplanted some of these three small broccolis that were in this broccoli bed. They were too close to some others that were getting big and shadowing them, so I moved them over here. Then I have a volunteer carrot in this bed. So nothing in the pea bed. The frost did get the peas. I'm not sure what I'm gonna plant in here next, but coming around back here, got nothing in my pepper planter, got nothing in this big bed yet, still got to clean it out. I've been putting compost from the pig pen in here. And in this long bed, this is Savannah mustard that I planted all on this side that I've been eating. All that Savannah mustard. And I planted this Savannah mustard in here without amending it very well. But all of these here are the Mizuna that I got for the free seed at Baker Creek. And then all of these in the middle right here, I went ahead and I had them planted here, but I went ahead and amended down the middle of this really good and fertilized it and transplanted them out with correct spacing, because I just dumped a bunch of seeds there. So now that I've done that, they have started growing pretty good. But there's a lot of purple bok choy in here from those microgreens. There's some more Mizuna that I had started. There's some regular bok choy. There's this curly blue kale that came in the microgreens. And then over there, there's some more different kinds of kale. And then one of those fluffy furry ones. They've grown a lot since I have transplanted them and spaced them out and fertilized and amended. And then over here, I have garlic. So all of this is garlic that I planted in the fall from half a garlic clove that my husband had bought. And this over here was a head of garlic that I bought for the intention of planting it right here, that I planted in January. And then what did I do right here? Let's see what this is. It looks like I planted some carrots in here, and I thought I planted some that I had poked a bunch of cilantro over here somewhere too, but that looks like carrots. So that's what might be in this bed. And this is I think a 3-foot by 7-foot long galvanized bed that came in the set with that shorter one. And then I don't have anything in the shorter one yet. I'm thinking about planting summer squash in there or potatoes. Not sure yet. I did get my potatoes from the feed store and I planted some of them. I still got a bunch to plant. So here in these two beds is the broccoli that I planted. Some of them were the Cipra broccoli, and the other ones were a giant broccoli. I forget the name of it, but most of them were the Cipra seeds that I got. And these are doing pretty good. Some of them are smaller over there, but you can see a lot of them are putting on good heads over here right now. But there is a sprinkler that gets to them every day. So this bed right here had my fall potatoes, which I dug after Christmas, and nothing's in here yet, but I have it completely amended and ready to go. This bed is just left over from fall. There's some radishes and some mustards and Mizunas in here, some purple bok choy. All that came from the microgreens except for the Mizuna. This is also a Mizuna, but some of them, a few of them came out like with this broadleaf, and then other ones came out with this spiky leaf. But this is the Mizuna mustard, purple Mizuna from Baker Creek, and it is really good. And I've just let this radish, I have a huge radish down here that I just let go because I keep cutting greens off of it. And then right here is the onions that I planted in the fall. They're not doing good yet, but I need to start. I just started back on a regular regimen of fertilizing them. And then back here, I had planted some radishes, which there's a few radishes. There's a radish right there. There's a few radishes back here and greens, but I might just grab those up and plant them somewhere else because I need to amend this whole bed eventually. So here in this bed, I just amended this. Just had my sweet potatoes that I dug the same day I dug my regular potatoes, and it has, once I dug those up, I put a layer of manure down, and then I threw a bunch of kitchen compost down, and then I just put a bag of garden soil on top. So that's ready to go for my squash. When my squash come ready, I did plant some a couple days ago. I do try to get my summer squash in there really fast and early because I cover them with the row blankets, and that kind of creates a greenhouse effect. And good. And that helps my squash to grow super early before the squash bugs get here and wipe them out. So right here, I planted these are more of the Tete Noir cabbages, and I've transplanted them into here, and they've been covered up. But I just went in and I amended the soil. I took a bunch of soil compost from my chicken house and put it all in here. And then earlier in the fall, like around, October, November, I planted seeds for some more cabbages. So I've got several little baby cabbages in here, and some broccoli. Planted broccoli and cabbage seeds in here, and so some of them came up, and so there's some small ones in here too. But I just amended this bed and fertilized this bone meal that you see around each one of those plants. And so that's what we got going on this bed. And this was my green bean bed back in the summer, and it hasn't had anything in it. I've just been adding soil and compost, so haven't topped it off yet to be able to plant. And then in this bed right here, I have more of those Tete Noir purple cabbages, and I believe that's either a collard or a Jersey cabbage. And then there's a broccoli plant right there, and I'm not sure if that's a broccoli right there. But all that green stuff you see is daikon radish, which was part of our cover crop seeds, and I just threw some in there because I knew the water would hit them to see how big they got. And I have been just taking my scissors in here and chopping them off by the handfuls and putting them in our salads and in our sauteed greens. And then I had planted some peas back in the fall right here in the cold. The freeze got them all, but look, there's a pea right there. So there's 2 pea plants in here that survived all the freezes, and I actually have a pea right there. So that's cool. And so in this bed, I just planted some more of the microgreens out, and there's a bunch of those. There's some kind of lettuce right there, another lettuce there, and a red romaine. And then this is a mustard, some kind of mustard. And then that's a bok choy. And this is another red bok choy I've been cutting off of. And it's got several weeds in there as well. But that's just another greens bed I've been getting after. And then this bed right here just has weeds in it. I still have to get it cleaned out and plant. And that end got some stuff in it. This end right here is bare. So getting around to this tire right here, I just planted red onion sets from the I believe I got a bag of onion sets from Lowe's, and then I had gotten another big bunch of onion starts from the feed store. So I have onions everywhere, but that's some of my onions, and they're just green onion size right now. Once I start fertilizing them and amend this bed some more, they'll start getting bigger. So this is the 2 big beds. They're about 6 foot, 5.5 feet, almost 6 feet long by I think 34 inches wide. And then the bump outs I haven't planted or got those ready. They're still just sitting there dormant. Haven't done anything with those yet. But this right here, I intended for this to be my chicken animal collard bed. So all these are collards, and I've been picking off of them. Those two might be cabbages, I'm not sure, but I know all these are collards. And so those are what that is. And then this bed, I had a bunch of compost that I had been throwing in there for a while. And so from the compost, I've never planted potatoes in that bed, but I have a bunch of potato plants in there. And I also did some more of those daikon radishes. So that's just what's been going on in that bed. And then right here, I have this little corner. And in my tire, I have been growing the Gustav Butterhead lettuce from Baker Creek, which is now my favorite lettuce of all time. It is the best lettuce I've ever grown. And I've eaten a couple of the big heads in here, and then I have been just taking from the outside edges and making our salads with them. And then I have some more of those onions planted right there. Those are just radishes. These are some bunching onions that I planted in here. Then here's some more of the lettuce, and those are small because we've been eating around the outside. But that's what the full heads are looking like right now. But these, you definitely need to look up Gustav's Butterhead at bakercreekrareseeds.com, because these are the best ever. I love Butterhead lettuce, and those are awesome. And then this is just a volunteer potato from the compost. So coming around this side a little bit, I've been thinking about what I'm going to do here this year, and I haven't done anything yet, but I'm still thinking about what I'm going to do right there. So in the fall, I planted this bed full of the onion starts. So that's what all this is. And then this bed is the overflow, what was left of the onions. So I just planted all of them right there. So I do need to go in and amend this whole bed. I'm going to be planting tomatoes in here again. And so I got to weed again and get all this soil built up. And this bed that I did last year, that I never really finished it, but I did grow awesome pepper plants in this front bed right here. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take out that front layer and just make it these two layers, because one of the reasons why I never finished filling it up and planting in it was because I can't really reach the top layer. So I decided that I just want it to be 2 layers. So I'm just going to unscrew this bottom one, take out those 2 posts, and cut the bottom right here, screw it back on, and then screw that up there and have just 2 layers. And that should be pretty good. And then back here, my berry bed, it looks sad. It's all just the dead stuff that I have not cleared out this back corner yet. But I need to hurry up and get to it because my berries are going to be producing pretty soon. And both of those are empty. I'm thinking about moving them somewhere else and planting greens in them to finish out the season. And then this bed right here, I haven't planted anything in it in a long time. I don't really like how it's set up. I think that I want to redo this too. I think I want to make a couple of just smaller beds like this, and a small bed right there, and then just make that a walkway in between. So that's what I'm thinking about there. I may even bump this out a little bit more, I don't know. But I'm definitely going to be redoing this because it's not something that I like and it's functional for me right now. So I'm going to do something different. So let's go ahead and start back down this middle row here. So this bed here that we had last planted our purple hull peas is now planted with white Kennebec. Or no, I'm sorry. Red Pontiacs. Red Pontiac seed potatoes are planted in here. We planted them last Sunday. And then right here where my tomatoes were planted in the fall, I don't have anything in there except for some lettuce that's still hanging on and I'm still picking off of. Nothing in this tire right here. And then the next one that we had peas in the summer, we now have white Kennebec seed potatoes growing in. And then nothing here. That's my raspberry right there. And these are still dormant from winter, as well as this one back here. So both of those and this one right here and the one next to it is all still dormant. This bed right there with the bucket in it, that's my asparagus bed. So I do want to throw a bunch of fertilized manure and stuff like that on top of my asparagus before they start coming up. But this is my old broccoli bed where I always grow broccoli in, and I have an idea this year that I want to do this entire 4x10 bed with corn, sweet corn. So I've just started some seeds for sweet corn today, and I am going to be amending this bed. I've had it covered up with leaves. I don't think I planted anything in it the last half. Maybe early spring I planted something in it, but I didn't plant nothing through the summer and nothing in the fall. So it's just been sitting here with leaves piled on top of it. So I want to amend this a lot. Maybe do some high nitrogen hen manure and cottonseed meal or something like that, and get it good in nitrogen, and plant the whole entire thing with corn. So this bed right here, I haven't even weeded. I've weeded it a few times, but the weeds keep coming back. I think what I'm going to do is take this piece right here and actually shorten this bed to the length of that pole. That way I have more clearance right here, because you can see I have a tire and that right there, and I can't really get a wheelbarrow, or it's hard to get my little cart through there. So I'm going to shorten it by 6 inches or whatever, and then I'm going to use that, take those two pieces apart, they're mating pieces, and put them on each end and put another piece on this end, because my intention the whole time was to build this bed up another layer once I started it, but I just planted it where it was, how it was to begin with. And this spring I want to go ahead and get this bed the way that I want it, to the height, a little bit taller height, and then replant in it. And I don't know what's going to end up in here, but something. At least I've got some ideas. So in this drum right here, I just planted, these are another 12 pack of the microgreens, and there's some bok choy in there, a couple of curly kales, and maybe a few spinach in there. We'll have to see how it comes out, but it looks like mostly bok choy. But we just planted that today, so that'll be coming up, and that is pretty much it for what's going on right now, February 1st in the garden. It'll be exciting to see how things pan out. I don't have a whole lot of plans going on. I do want to plant more potatoes. I have several more potatoes to plant. And I'm going to plant a bunch in grow bags. But I did want to plant another bed with potatoes. Just not sure which one. So I have that bed ready to plant. And I've got that bed ready to plant. This one's about to be ready to plant. That one's ready to plant. So we still got a lot of progress to get everything in the greenhouse going. But I'm going to go ahead and go to the greenhouse and show you what I got going on in there. Just wanted to give you another overview of what the garden looks like right now. So mainly that whole row, besides the potatoes, is empty. And the back row just got onions. And then the very back there and there we have nothing. But we've been making some progress in the front. And we'll make steady progress. I've got more projects to do. So if you can see our yard, how bright green it is, that is our cover crop, which is red clover and winter rye and daikon radish. And my chickens, I've been letting them out, trying to let them out every day and keep them out, you know, throughout the weekend. But they have been enjoying the heck out of that, out of those radishes and clover and grass. So these two girls right here are 2 of the 4 hens pullets that I hatched out this summer that ended up being hens. I ended up with so many roosters, probably 9 roosters and only 4 hens. But these are the 2 of the new hens that I ended up with. The third one is a pure gold color. I'll show you if I see her. And then the 4th one I actually got from the feed store. That's a olive egger or a splash Americana or something. I don't remember what she is, but she's a splash colored chicken that's supposed to lay blue eggs. So there's those 2 girls. And this one right here looks like a black sex link, but she's just a barnyard conglomerate. So the grow bed garden, I just have chicken wire around it right now so the chickens don't get in it, but it's mainly empty. The freeze killed everything. I have a collard right there that was looking pretty good that I had I cloned it. I just pulled it off of another collard plant and planted it, and it grew. But other than that, the only thing that we got growing in here is I planted carrots in here. I planted carrots in there. But some of the carrots are coming up over there. This is my chive that I had out in the garden for as long as I've lived here, almost 10 years. And I took it out of the pot because it wasn't starting to get really root bound. And I separated it out, and that's a piece of it. This is the chives that I planted in here. And I planted some seeds in here. And I don't know, I planted some lemon mint and some lemon basil and a couple herbs in here. I don't remember what, but they're coming up. That's all I got planted in the bags. And then over here, my potting station, I've got an herb garden going on. So the sun is really killer right now. So we can see, I've got a chamomile, I've got peppermint, I've got a little lavender, and then this is one of those basil growing kits from the Dollar Tree. And you can see it's starting to come up. This is just a Genovese basil. This is a purple coneflower. It's not coming up yet. We got some thyme. Always need more of that. We have some curly parsley, some summer savory, some fern leaf dill, my poor little cilantro plant that I tried to transplant. What happened was I just planted a bunch of these seeds, but I went to one of our local feed stores, and they have a garden center, and they always have a ton of vegetable starts and herb starts. So I went ahead and got these to give myself a head start on having some more herbs. And they had, several in one pot, that trick. So I separated them. That's why I got this little curly parsley there, got the 2 different deals, the chamomile and the mint I just kept together. And then down here in my bags, I still got my onions that I've been growing for years that I poked into the ground from some green onions that my husband got at the grocery store. So I cut off these. I cut them down to nothing. A week ago they had nothing on them because I had used them all up on canning projects, and now they're growing again. And all I do with these is cut the tops. And then right there is the orange tree that Alexandria grew from seed. And this is the lemon tree. I had 2 lemon trees and it fell behind. I couldn't find it, and I finally found it. This right here is cilantro, little snapdragon. Over here is another one of those curly parsleys. I don't have anything growing in this pot. I don't know what this is, if it's anything. And then this pot right here, I just have a snapdragon, some cilantro, and some curly parsley. So So we will go in the greenhouse and see what's growing. So I think I got about 10 trays going in here so far. And we'll just start over here. I planted out, I had more of these ones that I started before Thanksgiving, and they were bok choy, which I think that is. And then I had some microgreens, and I planted 2 trays of these out in a Swiss chard today. So this is the rest of I got some Gustav lettuce in there that I just started. I just poked that into the little ones that didn't germinate. And I got some bok choy. And then these tomatoes back here are just seeds that I saved when I chopped up my last fall tomatoes, and I just dumped them in there. So that's just a variety of all the different kinds of tomatoes that I grew in the fall, which I had just grown a variety of seeds that I had grown for summer, and I dumped them in a bucket in the fall and grew all my fall tomatoes. So here I have some Jackpot hybrid bicolor sweet corn. Just planted it earlier. This is a Fairy Morris one I got from Lowe's last year that I never used, and it's a bicolor sweet corn hybrid. So we'll see if it germinates. I did order a big bag of peaches and cream corn from True Leaf Market, and I will be planting that when it comes in. But until then, I'm probably gonna be planting out some of the corn that I have left over to see if it germinates. So that's what's going on in that tray. So I did want to mention a new thing. So a couple years ago in 2021, I had bought these 12-pack sales, which are just like these packs here. And these are the same inserts that came in them. And they had individual little trays on the bottom and little greenhouse toppers. And I had bought 2 sets of them from Amazon, and I've been using them to start all my seeds in the summer, spring, whenever. And so I found these on Amazon. They're the same Mixie brand, and they have 40 cells, and they're just more heavy duty, and so they hold up for more than one season. And they have the little bottom tray, and then you can put the top on for a humidity dome. And right now you can get a 5-pack of those for $18 to $20. So that's my new seed starting get up that I got for this year so far. I just picked this up from the feed store that I got the herbs from. They had these little flats for $1, and I just picked up an extra one, just the seeds trays, just to have something extra to put seeds in. I don't anticipate that to last me more than this season. But so far, most of these, unless I really abuse them, I've lost a couple. But mainly these little 12-pack trays right here, you can put 6 of them in a 10-20 tray, and they are holding up pretty good for me, so I'm happy about that. So I got some more. And so back here in this tray, I have a bunch of new green seeds that I've got some red radicchio, I've got some tomatillo right here, I've got Tokyo mustard from M.I. Gardner, which I've never grown before. I got some purple top turnips that are growing right there. And then I have planted spinach, calabrese, broccoli, golden acre cabbage, and some cauliflower. So I don't know, it might be too late for me to start cabbage in zone 9, but we'll see what happens. So up here I have 2 more of those trays. And these humidity domes are doing really good for my herbs and my flowers and stuff like that. So I've got a bunch of herbs that I bought from M.I. Gardner, and I'm wanting to definitely beef up my perennial herbs and herbs that I'm growing in the garden, medicinal and perennial, and culinary herbs as well. So we got some fenugreek, marigold mint, anise, which there's some anise coming up right there. We got some tarragon, all these little tarragons coming up, Ducat dill, Florence fennel. We got some dill coming up right there. We got some fennel coming up right there. And then we got some bronze leaf fennel, another kind of fennel, some broadleaf sage, some summer savory, some sweet marjoram, and some fenugreek back there. So the fenugreek is like a French herb, I think. and it kind of, I heard it has a little bit of a licoricey taste to it, but it has a lot of lysine in it, which is something that is high, something you usually get from meat. It's an essential amino acid or amino, what do you call it? Vitamin anyways. And chickens is found a lot in eggs and meat, and chickens need it to lay a lot of eggs. So I grew that to kind of grow all around my yard so that they could eat it as well. More so than, you know, to cook with. So anyway, down here we got some flowers. Not sure if those are any of the flowers that grew up. This is one of my 6-pack cells that kind of got a couple 12 packs. I got one kind of crushed. So I just put one together out of 2 that were messed up. And then there's more of the tomato seeds from my saved fall tomatoes. And then here I have some pepper seeds and tomato seeds growing that I saved from fall. And then in here I've got some salvia, echinacea, and calendula. And these back here are getting pretty dry. I need to water that. This is a 12-pack that I bought of Utah tall celery from Lowe's, which is not coming up yet. I've heard that they need more lengthy warmth, so I put them on this underneath this 1020 tray. I got a heat mat. And then over here I've got some nasturtium and some cucumbers. And then back in the back I've got some lemon balm and some peppers, Hungarian wax, Culipino, and some Mad Hatters and Cubanelles. But those are old seeds that I had in my stash, so I don't know if they'll come up or not. And then down here I have another 6 of those 12-pack cells in this 1020 tray. I've got a bunch of tomatoes. I've got some Aunt Ruby's German Green coming up, some Brad's Atomic Grape coming up, Hungarian Heart. Those back there in the middle are some Bush Determinate beefsteaks that I got seeds from in the fall that I planted in the fall. And then I got some, let's see, white Tomasol and some Kellogg's Breakfast and Midnight Snack back there growing. So that's just tomato seeds that I already had on hand. And then I didn't show you what was in this one up here. This is a bunch of peppers and tomatoes. And then right up front I have some coreopsis flowers that's actually coming up. Then I got some pink ox hearts and some black crims. I got those from M.I. Gardener this year. And then I got some cascading tomatoes. I got those from M.I. Gardener as well. Those are a determinate. Then we have some Gilbertia tomatoes. Those are like a really large paste tomato that had good reviews on his website. And then from M.I. Gardener, I also picked up here recently giant Marconis I've grown in the past. Jimmy Dardellos I've grown in the past. Those are both sweet, big sweet peppers. And then this Pasilla Bajo is a Mexican pepper used in Mexican foods. And then turning around, I just have some dianthus and petunias, marigolds and pansies right here. None of these have come up yet. And then right here I have my Hoss Tools pack. So I just got an order from Hoss Tools. And I got some Dixie Red tomatoes. I got some, basically I got 3 of their hybrid determinate with the big disease resistant production package on them. For that I got the Dixie Red, the Red Snapper, and the Summer Pick. And this is a beefsteak. Basically all those are beefsteaks. And then I got the Chef's Choice Black. So in the prior few years I've been growing, I got a pack of Chef's Choice Orange from them, which I have grown and grown and grown, and I really love them. So this year I just decided to choose a Chef's Choice Black. It's an indeterminate. And then I've started some Slick Pick yellow squash. I have not grown this variety yet. And then I got 2 peppers from them. I got the Colossal Jalapeno and the Hidalgo Poblano, which is, I needed some new jalapeno seeds because I don't know if mine are old or not, and I really want to grow jalapenos. That's kind of a staple. And then I also got some yarrow from them. So that's the Hoss Tools pack right there. And out in the garden I had planted peas and beets and everything today. So that's what we got going on there. Still want to start some more seeds probably tomorrow. And I'll be doing a seed haul here shortly. My next project, here you can see my red broilers. So back in October 24th from Valley Farms, where I always get my broilers from, I ordered one last thing of broilers for the season to grow out in the fall, and I ordered 8 white broiler Cornish X and 8 of the red Ranger / Sagitas. So I just did the mix of either one that they wanted to give me that I had left, and I ended up with all roosters. In the Cornish X I had 1 hen, and in the red broilers I had all roosters, which is fine with me because I'm gonna butcher them all. I still got 3 of the red broiler hens that I grew last early spring from their red broilers, so I still have the hens, and that's fine. That rooster right there is actually a rooster from the red broiler hens that I grew last year, and he looks just like one of the red broilers, but he is a hybrid from my roosters that have a lot of Freedom Ranger and everything else in them, and those red broilers. So he is actually one of the roosters that I grew from that I hatched out in the incubator this year. So we were processing the white broilers after Christmas. Around New Year's we were processing them, and then these guys are slated to get processed here in February, some part in February, mid to late February. They'll get processed along with our roosters. So another project that I'm working on is my strong camel greenhouse that I bought in January of 2021, 2 years ago. The top finally gave out on me, and they have been sold out of the covers for months now. I've been trying to order it, and I was just about to order just a regular tarp like that and then tape it on with greenhouse fabric a couple days ago, and bam, as soon as I did that, I just wanted to check one more time, and they had the cover that I need. So tomorrow I'm going to take this cover off, clean this whole greenhouse, put a pallet floor in here, and get it ready to put my new cover on, because all of those tomato seeds that I'm growing right now are going to need that greenhouse when I up pot them, and the peppers and everything else. So that is my project for tomorrow, because next week I'll be getting my new cover and we'll be getting ready to up pot some plants from the greenhouse. So that is what that is looking like. Another project that we started in the fall, we got pigs, and these are just grow outs. We got these 2 right here. They were born in August, and they are Berkshire Yorkshire mixes, and they are going to be going to freezer camp in a month or 2. We are planning on butchering him, who is a bar, he's a cut bar, first in like another month, and then we're going to hold on to her for a subsequent month or 2 to see if she get how much bigger she gets before we send her to freezer camp. And then this small one I actually got as a lard pig. The mama to her was a Julienne pig. She's probably about 100 pounds, 80 to 100 pounds. And then the daddy was a Berkshire Pineywood Rooter mix. And so she looks like she's going to take more after the Julienne. But the fun fact is, when we've got these feeder pigs, which I got her first as a lard pig, but we got these 2 feeder pigs from a man that does feeder pigs, like the market meat hogs. And one of his neighbors down the road actually bred Julienne pigs, and a bar and two females came down the road to his place and never left, and they never came and got them. So he fed them for 3 years, and when we came to pick up these guys, he said that if we would take those 3 Juliennes, that we could have them for free. So we went back and got them around Christmas time, and they were about 100 pounds a piece, maybe a little more. But they were short, but we ended up butchering them, and we got the most red marbled pork chops, the most delicious sausage, and tons of lard off of them pigs. So the lard has been such a blessing to have. I've been sharing it with people. I've been using it for everything that I have been cooking with. Every day we use the lard to cook everything, and I may even make some soap here soon, but it's just such a blessing to have a pure product to cook with that I know that doesn't have anything added to it, and that is actually good for me and not, like seed oil or something like that. So she's going to take longer to grow out, but she's not a problem. Once we get these 2 out, she won't hardly be messing up anything. But I have them right here in our backyard. We bought this Premier One piglet fence, and we've actually moved them around our yard a few times. We are almost an acre here, and all we do is about once a month we move them to a new spot, and all we have to do is move this pin around, and they kind of move with it. And it's an fully electrified. It has a solar panel on it, plus a backup that we keep it plugged up with. And we had them over there, and then we had them in the other part of our yard over here where I showed you, where it's all green. We started them over there, and we moved them from this way, and then now we've moved them a 3rd time over here, and we've had them since the end of October. So all we're going to do is when we get ready to move them again, we'll just fill in any holes with a rake, and we'll throw down cover crop, and in a few weeks the whole thing will be bright green and better than it was before they were there. So it's not something that is long term, and it actually does help the land and help the yard in the long run. Even though it doesn't look good right now, it really doesn't bother us that much, and we're just raising them through the winter, and then in a few months they'll all be gone, and we'll take a few months off. So that's the pig situation, and I'll come and show you the roosters that we're growing out. That I got through the winter, and I got a couple of my banny roosters in here. I only have about 2 banny hens left because I had a hawk problem. Hopefully I saw the crows come back, so maybe that'll be over with. But I've got a couple that are running around, but when we do those red broilers, these guys will go. And I don't know, this guy in the front, I really like him. He's pretty. So I'm kind of going back and forth with him and another Americana mix rooster that we have running around. Which one I'm going to keep, because I believe I'm going to keep 2 roosters. And then up there are my little bantam smaller roosters. And they're in there because I don't want them stressing out my hens. So I have these red broilers running around, which don't bother them too bad. But other than that, I have 3 grown roosters running around, and more than that is too much of a stress on my hen. I have about 15 to 18 hens, so they will be going to freezer camp, and then I'll choose which one of these small roosters I'm going to keep and put my bannies back in this pen to keep them safe for a while once these guys get out. So got some good looking roosters that we hatched all these from eggs, except for the one up there on the top. We got him from my son got him from the flea market, so I don't know what he is, but we hatched out all the rest of these roosters here. And then this is my main rooster, Orange Man. You may have seen him before, but he is Buff Orpington and Freedom Ranger, and we've had him for a couple years now. He came with the chicks that we hatched out in spring of 2020. maybe 2021, I don't remember now, but that is what's going on with the chickens. And I was gonna see if I could see the ducks to show you what we got going on with the ducks right now. But we have 7 ducks. Actually, we have 8 ducks because I hatched one out. Maybe they're inside of the chicken house. So there is the little pullet that we got from the feed store that's supposed to lay the blue eggs. She's some kind of splash sapphire or something. She's really pretty. She loves to fight with my bulldog. She's not scared of anything, and she makes her think that she's bullying him or her, and when she's actually just playing. So there's a couple of my older hens, my Americanas, and this one right here we hatched. She's an Americana Freedom Ranger mix. That one we purchased. That's just a Buff Orpington that we purchased a few years ago. One of my last remaining Bantams. That one in the middle is one of my last remaining Bantams. I got my blue Orpington from Tractor Supply 2020. A black Orpington or black Moran, I don't remember which. We got a cuckoo Moran right there. And then a couple of Americanas up there for my hens. And I was looking for, oh, there's my ducks. I just like to go back and see what I had when. So these are, how many ducks we got here? Okay, so that little silver one, we actually hatched him out Thanksgiving. Well, he had 2 that we hatched out at the same time, and they looked identical. And then I put them out in the brooder, and I think one of our cats got his sister, brother, whatever. But I think it's a girl. Right now, she still looks like a girl. We call her Silver, and she is gray. We hatched her out from our flock of ducks right here. And then she doesn't really have anything to do with the ducks yet. She's been in here for about a month, maybe 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks at least. But she was raised with a chicken. She was hatched with a chicken. And so she's always hung out with these red broilers. And so she doesn't know that she's supposed to hang out with chickens. But there is the other ducks. So we have 3 males still. These are from the Ideal ones that we got during the Texas freeze of 2020. So we got this khaki camel crested. We got a fawn and white runner. Those are both male. And then we have this Cayuga female, a Rowan female. And then, that's a Cayuga male. And he's a mix that we hatched earlier in the year. And he had 2 with him too, and something got a hold of her, so we have him left. So we actually hatched 2 of the 8 ducks that we have. And then this girl right here and this girl right here, I bought from the lady that I got the little Julienne pig from. And they have been laying every day since I got them from day one. So they're excellent little ducks. And then we've hatched 2. We hatched that green-headed Cayuga looking one, and this guy right here. Hopefully it's a girl. That other one was a male. There was a female with him, but she is the one that got a hold of. And since we had a lot more males, we had 7 from that purchase from Ideal Poultry back in 2020, and 5 of them were males. So then we knocked it down to 2 males, and then we kept this one male right here. And they do fine. When there was more males, they were a lot more stress on the hens, and it was not good. But now with this many females, with 4 females and hopefully 5, and hopefully once she gets more mature, she'll start hanging out with them eventually. But they do fine, and they keep an eye on each other. So I just had that little gold pullet in front of me that I was going to show you. She's back there. But that's all I got to show you for the farm and the greenhouse and the update for January or February. It has been, there's the other rooster that I'm thinking about keeping that has some Americana in him. But that's what's going on right now. And this is where I've been starting all my seeds at right here. and I will be doing a seed haul in a little bit later, and I will talk to you guys hopefully in a few weeks, give you another update on what's going on around here. So here is the pullets that we have so far for 2023. We went ahead and picked up some fresh pullets as soon as we could. Last year, the majority of the eggs that we hatched were males. So we are planning on getting our incubator out and hatching some more. But we went ahead and grabbed these pullets when we had the chance. We were at a feed store that actually had them for a decent price, and they were not already gone. And so we got 6 here. They are, we got Americanas and we got Cinnamon Queens. So the Cinnamon Queens are a sex-linked hybrid that, these are from Ideal Poultry. So Ideal Poultry actually calls them Gold Stars or something like that. But other hatcheries call them Cinnamon Queens. And they're just a sex link made up of Rhode Island Reds and Rhode Island Whites. And the males are white and the females are gold, as you can see. And then for the Americanas, we just got 4 of them. 3 of them are kind of like chocolate reddish color, and one of them is the standard gold chipmunk looking coloration. But our plan was to go back the next week. They were actually getting, their contract is every other week to get chicks in, and we were going to go the next week and get 5 more of a different breed, or a couple of different breeds, to make a total of 12. And the next week rolled around and there was another freeze in Texas, so their chicks didn't come. So we are going to hatch some more eggs. We're about to start our incubator back up again, and we're also going to be hatching some quail eggs from our Contornix quail, because they are breeding again. But we just wanted to go ahead and get some pullets in case we don't end up with very many pullets with the hatch that we have this year. Like last year, we only ended up with 4 pullets, and that made it to the end of the year. And then we had probably 10 or 12 roosters that we've gone through, or more, that we hatched out. So we had a majority, and we did about 3 hatches last year. So those are the new pullets, the first new chicks of 2023. And if we get some more, I will update you, and we will be, like I said, hatching some more. So that is the baby chicks, and I'll talk to you guys later.